I never thought I'd have to say this, but my wife got punched in the face by a fake HOA enforcer over a fence. They called it non-compliant visibility standards. The only thing non-compliant was their faces after I was done with them. My name's Ben, a veteran who's seen enough to know when a fight's coming. This one started in our backyard and ended with a neighborhood uprising that exposed a conspiracy uglier than the HOA's rule book. It began on a quiet Saturday. I was in the garage, tinkering with a door hinge the HOA had flagged for excessive structural confidence, whatever that means. My wife, Olivia, a former combat medic, was in the backyard, yoga mat out, chasing calm. She does that when the world gets loud. Me, I was half listening to a podcast when I heard boots heavy, deliberate, like they were here to raid, not nitpick property lines. 3 men in black tactical vests, HOA patches slapped on like cheap Halloween costumes, marched into our yard. One held a clipboard, another had a GoPro strapped to his chest. And across the street, Karen, the neighborhood's self-appointed queen, watched from her porch like she was directing a reality show. "Ma'am, we need to confirm elevation compliance," clipboard guy barked. Olivia stood, calm but sharp. "Is that code for get off my lawn?" I stepped outside just as the tension thickened. Clipboard guy droned about obstructing perimeter visibility. Olivia fired back. "We appealed that notice. It's pending." He sneered. "Pending doesn't mean compliant." Then, in a blink, he swung. A grown man in knockoff tactical gear punched my wife over a fence. She hit the ground hard, nose bleeding, eyes wide, one hand clawing the grass. For a second, the world stopped. Birds, wind, my heartbeat. He stood over her, smug. "You're in violation." I froze. Not out of fear, but memory. Fall 2011. A rookie in my unit hesitated when a suspect reached for his jacket. 2 lives lost. That moment haunts me. And now, it was Olivia on the ground. The wrench in my hand clattered to the concrete. I moved. By the time I reached her, she was on her knees, blood trickling down her lip. She didn't cry. She looked up and said, "That's going to bruise." I turned to the man. "You hit a medic. Over a fence." He shrugged. She resisted. Karen's voice slithered from across the street. "She's blocking the neighborhood's line of sight. It's a safety issue." "Karen," I said, not looking, "film this." Olivia spat blood and stared at the man. "Swing again, and I won't wait for backup." His bravado flickered. Our friend, Leo, stepped in, rake in hand. "You punched a medic, genius? Think we're scared of your clipboard." The guy backed off as I stepped forward. "You assaulted a veteran on her property. No warrant. In front of a camera. Wearing a fake uniform." Karen smirked. "We're encouraging compliance." I smiled. "Encourage yourselves to leave before you catch a felony." They slunk away. But that night, I tore through the HOA manual. Page 87, Section 12C. Enforcement needs written consent or legal documentation. They had neither. I underlined it and read. Olivia looked in the mirror, touching the purple swelling under her eye, and grinned. "This will look cute at tomorrow's HOA meeting." I wasn't laughing. My blood hummed like a live wire. Leo cooked bacon like he was defusing a bomb. "Comfort meat," he called it. Olivia limped in, still in yoga pants, bruise blooming. Leo nearly dropped the skillet. "You look like a Bond girl, post-explosion. Revenge now or after breakfast?" "Soon," Olivia said. "Ben's got a plan." I held up the manual. Leo groaned. We dug into citations, forced sales, contradictions. 5 families, all veterans, pushed out this year alone. Fence height, parking angles, unauthorized Christmas lights. The pattern wasn't the rules. It was the target's people who wouldn't fight back. Or so they thought. Karen's email blast came next, dripping with fake sincerity. "In times of unrest, we preserve community harmony. Noncompliance threatens peace." Leo muttered, "She's threatening us in cursive." Olivia stared at the screen. "She thinks we'll break." I hadn't smiled since the punch. Olivia noticed. "You're too calm." "That scares me more than the hit." I met her eyes. "It's a game I know how to win." I spent hours drafting, digging into county filings, fake LLCs, HOA budgets. At 11:47 p.m., I found it. An old charter clause barring external enforcers without consent or emergency orders. Then, a manila folder appeared on our doorstep. No letter. Just our fence citation and a photo of Olivia inside our home, taken from the hallway. No timestamp, no watermark. Just red ink. We're always watching. Compliance begins at home. They'd been inside. Not to steal, but to prove they could. I tore the house apart, smoke detectors, outlets, drywall. Nothing. Olivia watched, barefoot, ice on her knee. You're spiraling. I'm prepping. Leo arrived with snacks and reflective tape. If we're Fort Knox NG this place, I want in. We rigged trip sensors, pressure plates, cameras, and garden gnomes. At 2:14 a.m., 3 figures moved outside. No flashlights, all black. One poured copper sulfate into our irrigation root killer to poison our yard. I slid out the side door. Olivia flanked the fence. Leo triggered a fake floodlight. 2 bolted. I caught the third, a kid in a hoodie. Who's paying you? He squirmed. Just part-time man. Third key, a compliance contractor. They handle removals. Removals? I pressed. I spray and leave. I don't know names. Leo's voice crackled. That company's filed under 5 LLCs. This isn't an HOA, it's an eviction cartel. I let the kid go. Next time, I won't ask questions. Back inside, Olivia tested the irrigation. Long game. Kill the plants. Then they cite us for neighborhood degradation. A new notice arrived. Vegetative noncompliance. Their sabotage, our fine. I laughed. They were panicking. Then I noticed the neighbor's birdhouse camera had moved, now facing Karen's office. The feed streamed to an encrypted server, not ours. Someone else was watching her. At 2:36 a.m., my server pinged. A mirror directory in the HOA's app, tracking us. I cracked it in 11 minutes. Inside, a compliance retention file. Names, mortgages, service records. Olivia's risk factor high. Mine, unrecoverable. Next 2 hours. Requires escalation if not vacated by Q3. 43 entries, all veterans or widows, targeted for their equity, their silence. We called a meeting. Not a rally, just the marked. Mr. Alvarez brought unfiled complaints. Mrs. Chun, egged last week, wore sunglasses. The Millers nodded silently. I projected the file. You're on their list. They're coming with paperwork and traps. Alvarez asked, how long? Weeks, maybe less. Mrs. Chun whispered. They called my statue spiritually misaligned. Olivia said, it's calculated. Leo showed their equity maps. They know who to squeeze. Karen knocked that afternoon. No clipboard, just desperation. You've been busy. I smirked. Didn't schedule this through the app. Her voice dropped. I know what you've seen. It wasn't supposed to be visible. Olivia snapped. Tell that to the widow you called pushy. Karen blinked, fear flashing. You're a soldier, Ben. You get chains of command. This isn't yours to stop. I leaned in. It's mine to expose. She whispered. They promised I'd keep my home if I stayed quiet. She left without answering who they were. That night, Karen's office glowed. She paced, frantic on the phone. In her window's reflection, a man in a gray suit, military ring glinting. Not HOA. Federal. Olivia whispered. You know him? No, I said. But I know what he is. This wasn't a rogue HOA. It was a vet targeting pipeline. I walked into the next HOA meeting, folder in hand, down the aisle like I owned it. Karen stood at her podium, lavender-draped smile cracking. Ben, open comments are later. Sure, I said. After we expose your racketeering. Leo flicked his phone. The projector showed the spreadsheet names, risks, mortgages. Neighbors gasped. Karen stammered. I don't know where this came from. Olivia held up a margin note. Check lot 312. Wife is pushy. A man stood. That's my house. A woman trembled. My mom's on there. She died, but citations kept coming. Leo muttered. She's billing corpses. I clicked to Karen's signed PDFs. What context justifies targeting veterans? Silence. Neighbors shouted about fines for mailbox paint. Inappropriate gnomes. The room snapped. Fear became clarity. Karen tried tears. There are people above me. I cut in. You made us feel it. The treasurer quit. This is fraud. Olivia read emails, payouts, contracts. Board members fled. Karen backed away. I need a break. Olivia said, you need a lawyer. Applause broke out, quiet but solid. That night, federal agents hit Karen's house. They boxed her server, her files, and cuffed her. She didn't scream, just vanished into silence. A message arrived. Clever. But this isn't over. You're visible now. Signed S. Attached, a photo of an SUV outside our house. A phone screen reflecting me in my kitchen. I didn't sleep. Olivia refused to run. We flushed them out. I became bait, walking with an empty envelope marked, "Hope you're enjoying the view." Leo watched from the roof. Olivia trailed in a hoodie. The SUV circled. The driver stepped out, holding a photo of Olivia at the store, a man behind her, hand in his coat. "This isn't surveillance," he said. "It's due diligence. You're in federal corridors now." He showed old photos of me in uniform. "You were on a list before this started." Olivia's voice hissed in my earpiece. "Step back." I smirked. "You always carry this much rope?" He chuckled and drove off. Back home, a fresh boot print marked our porch. Lights died front, back. Kill switch. Olivia grabbed a flashlight. I took my Glock. Outside, red paint screamed, "Stand down," with a military blueprint. They weren't warning, they were testing. We'd failed the silence test years ago. In Kirkuk, I froze. A boy stood defiant in a safe house. I didn't shoot. My buddy died in the blast. That hesitation haunts me. Olivia knew. In our garage, she grabbed my wrist. "You froze because you're human. That's why you're dangerous." I unlocked a foot locker, pulled a flash drive. Redacted reports from Kirkuk, named S, tied to housing transitions. They silenced me once. Not again. We hijacked every camera, Ring, Nest, park sensors. Leo cracked Karen's files with her cat's birthday. Inside, transfer logs, foreclosures. S's signature. They'd filed to seize our house over fence safety. I filed an injunction, froze their transfers. Leo leaked the video to reporters. At the HOA's cleanup day, we played the tape. Karen's voice, S's orders. The crowd roared. "Mrs. Chin took the mic. We've been silent long enough." Karen stood alone, terrified, a puppet with cut strings. Feds cuffed S outside a Phoenix Marriott. Karen flipped, gave them everything. Oak Ridge rebuilt. Mrs. Chin became HOA president. No fines, only fixes. Kids returned, chalk on sidewalks. Cookouts revived. We built a new fence, 1 inch taller. Approved with a nod. I visited Karen in jail, slid her the grocery store photo. "You came for my wife. You thought I wouldn't fight." She whispered. "They said I had to." I left her staring. At home, Olivia handed me a beer. We watched kids race bikes. Leo tripped over a watering can, yelling, "I'm an asset." For the first time in a decade, I breathed. No sirens, no files. Just calm, not given. The HOA sends silence now. In Oak Ridge, that's respect. But that message from S lingers. You're visible. And somewhere, a camera I didn't install is still watching.